Game. It's a game that we're looking forward to. I think our entire team's looking forward to this one. I know our fan base is looking forward to this one as well. I remember going over to Maryland 3 years ago, playing at their home field and having a great crowd. I thought we traveled well and was an entertaining game. One of the few regional games that we have left. The few regional rival games that we have left. As you all well know, we're trying to schedule games like this, for the future, and we are. But currently this is kind of the only one that we have to hang our hat on right now. So I know that's important to everybody. I know the history of this game is important to everybody. It's important to our players. Recruiting is important over in Maryland, so we have a lot of guys on the East Coast that we recruit that will pay attention to this game as well. So it's something that we're fired up about, and look forward to a good week of preparation going over there and playing on their home field. So what I see with Maryland, I see the exact same team that I saw last year. I don't think there's anything different about it. Coach Etzel's going into his 4th year. Has put his stamp on the program with the way they play. They got a lot of returning players. The systems on all 3 sides of the ball. Coach Loxley's going into his 3rd year with the scheme offensively. Coach Stewart's going into his 3rd year with the scheme defensively. And their special teams is solid. Is really solid. Andre Powell has been with Randy for a long time. They're at UConn together and been at Maryland together for the 4 years as well, and it shows with how they play. So it'll be a huge challenge for us. It was a big challenge for us last year that we did not meet that challenge, as we all know. So I would assume that our guys are going to be very motivated to get a good week's of preparation in to obviously try to come out on top. So, I'll take questions from here, but what you saw last year out of them on all 3 sides of the ball with the same players, that's exactly what we're going to see this year.
Now, while they're the exact same team, can you even illustrate how different of a team you are today versus where you were last September?
Yeah, I think we're in a much better place. I said this 2 weeks ago going into our first game. Said it after the game, said it last week going into our second game, said it after the last game. So I think we're different. I think we're very different. I think our mentality is different. Although our players are the same and our scheme is the same, I think our mentality is in a much different place. So we're a more experienced team. We're a more confident team. We're playing with a lot more effort and energy, and that's gonna hopefully make a big difference in the outcome of Saturday's game.
Would you like your players to just keep a little bit of last year's game in the back of their minds?
No, I don't think that's going to be necessary. I mean, we'll talk about it briefly. We talked about it briefly on Sunday. But like I said, I don't need them to change anything, because, what really got us beat last year was the mentality, the effort, the excitement level that we didn't play with, the excitement level that they played with. They did a good job of seizing the momentum. I mean, we turned the ball over 6 times, and they took advantage of that. They had field position the whole day. I mean, they made more plays on 3rd down than we did. They won on all 3 sides, and but the way we've been playing the last 2 weeks, I don't need them to change that. So where we're at is in a different place. And I would assume that will help in the preparation. I would assume that will help in the outcome of what the game's going to be on Saturday.
What have you seen out of Maryland's receivers and the challenges you guys are going to face covering them?
Fortunately, we've pretty much every team in the Big 12 has receivers that we have to cover. There's some good ones in the Big 12. Not taking anything away from Maryland's. I mean, the guys that they got coming back, Long and Diggs and Leak, we all know who they are. Same guys that they played with last year. They've developed a rapport with the quarterback. I mean, C.J. Brown's going into his 3rd year of being the guy. They're going to pose challenges. We better get used to it, because those same challenges are going to exist for the remainder of the year.
Dana, last year, whatever troubles you had offensively and defensively, I would assume probably affected the way you game plan and call plays, right? Just knowing what you knew. Are those hurdles, inhibitions, whatever, have you removed them and just started where you had been, or are you still trying to get those things out of your mind and get back to where you once were?
Yeah, the way I called plays last year, the way we game planned last year, we're not doing the same things. We're a different team. We're able to do different things. We're able to call plays differently. You know, you can just look at the tape over the last 2 weeks and see that it's a little bit different than what it's been in the past. So, you know, it comes down to, you know, obviously playing with great effort, you know, being confident as coaches, being confident as players, playing with great effort, coaching with great effort. You know, putting a product out there everybody is proud of. Yeah, I will game plan differently, and I will call plays differently based on our players. I have a ton of confidence in our guys right now. So when you have a ton of confidence in your guys, you're going to do things differently.
Dana, would you say that maybe the biggest difference is where your offensive line is now as compared to last year?
It's a big difference.
I mean,
it's a big difference. If you look at our O-line last year, we had, you know, Curtis Fight was the right tackle, Pat Egger was the right guard, Tyler Orlowski was the center who got replaced by Pat Egger, Marquise Lucas was the left guard, Spain was the left tackle. I think if you look at where we're at right now, it's much, much different than that. So there is a time in that game where all 5 of those O-line positions are going to be different people this year. You know, based on some position changes, based on some guys maturing, based on some guys developing like Adam Pankey. So yes, up front we played well the last 2 games, and that just needs to be the standard with how we play.
did it help Orlowski to be benched for this year?
Yeah, well, if you ask him, he's going to say hell no, because he wanted to stay out there and keep playing because he loves to play the game of football. You know, for whatever reason, we decided, and we didn't wholeheartedly bench him. I mean, we still played him a good bit throughout the course of the season. He still took a lot of snaps periodically throughout the course of the season. A redshirt freshman is usually not physically ready to play. Now, Maryland's defensive line, it showed up against Oklahoma, it showed up against Maryland last year with Tyler. And he's a different dude now. I mean, when you're playing against very experienced nose guards that are big and powerful and seniors, then a redshirt freshman can struggle at times. And he did, and I'll tell you the other thing, he didn't have as much help with his guards either. Right now, he's getting some help with 2 guards that are playing pretty good. And the comfort level that those 3 have with each other right now are completely different than at any point last year.
Dana, if I can go back to my question, if you don't mind, did that start first snap Alabama? Like you knew you completely turned the page, or were there certain things you had to have them prove out in the first game or 2 where you could move on?
Well, I don't think we've turned the page. There's still going to be a lot of challenges ahead of us. Are we better? Yes. I mean, we should be better. I mean, it's all the same, pretty much guys coming back and just a lot of snaps and improvement and a quarterback that understands what we're trying to do. His comfort level is on a different scale, obviously. You know, Clint wanted to play in this game last year. I didn't think he was ready. You know, so he's pretty eager to get out there and play.
Give an update on Tonk Reed.
Day to day. He's not ruled out. He's day to day.
Can you speak to the difficulty of shutting a team out in this day and age of college football?
Man, it's tough. It's tough. It's especially tough when you play all your backups for as many snaps as we played all our backups. So the second team and third team guys got in there and still played hard. The effort stayed the same regardless of who was out there. So yeah, it's tough regardless of who the opponent is, and it's especially tough when you play as many people as we did defensively. So yeah, I was glad that happened.
And do you think that one game can set the tone for the rest of the season? Because it seems like this one against Maryland has been the case the last few years.
I know how important this game is. I know how important it is to the fans, and based on what happened, I can assure you it means a lot to the coaches and the players. You know, with that said, it's one game, and I know we talked about it last year, and I know what the history says. But again, we're not going to change our mentality because of what the history says. After this game, we have 9 Big 12 games that are all important. Each and every one of them are important. You know, this game is important because it's the next game. This one's important because it's a regional rival game. This one's important because of what happened last year. When we sit here a week from today, I'm going to be telling you how important the next one is. So I know the media makes a big deal about it. I know the history says a lot about that, but you know, we got to stay on guard from that because the next one's pretty important.
Dana, now that you've used him, do you find a package for William Press each week if you can?
I'd like to. He brings something to the table that's pretty good. Is dynamic, is physical, is mature, is still learning. You know, there is a lot of things that happened that you know, were unfortunately he's not going to be able to get away with a lot of that stuff if the game is very close or if the game is not decided. So the good news is we will practice him a lot. You know, we'll have opportunities to practice him. Right now he's listed as the number 2 quarterback. So, you know, if Clint's helmet comes off, then William will be running in there because he's the second-team quarterback right now. We will still have Paul Millard ready to go. You know, we'll have Skylar Howard ready to go. So we will just make those decisions based on what gives us the best opportunity to win.
Have you looked into the possibility, or have you continued to look into the possibility of redshirting Paul?
Yeah, if we don't play him, then he will get that year back. But like I said, he's a 4th-year senior, so if we don't play him, then he'll have another year. You know, like I said, it all depends on what gives us the best opportunity to win. And he knows that if he gives us the best opportunity to win, he's going in.
Coach, I know you're still in prep week, but do you foresee any changes in the depth chart at all?
I don't really think so. I mean, you know, we didn't lose anybody to injuries. I don't think anybody that was a starter did anything that weren't being replaced. We're going to continue to evaluate our backups to see how they play. We all know Bowie played well, so he'll get a look for a few more snaps. Jared Harper as a backup played well. He'll get opportunities to play as a backup, and we will. Shaq Petaway, you know, that he played better. It seems like for the first time in 3 years, so he will get more opportunities to get out there and play. But depth chart will stay the same. You know, who goes in next, I don't know yet. Wait and see how practice goes.
Dana, Maryland's going to be wearing some pretty fancy uniforms this week. What effect do the uniforms have? Do they have any? And like, how do you pick what you're wearing?
Well, I don't. I mean, I know the players pick what we wear. I mean, we're not going to. You know, everybody thinks that we're cutting edge because we changed our uniforms last year. But you know, there's more alternative uniforms out there right now. That exists that doesn't exist here. I can assure you that. So I like the ones we got, and we'll let them pick the combinations. I don't know. I can't speak for Maryland and all that. I know it affects recruiting. I know it's all about recruiting, and the more uniforms that you can have, the more fired up the recruits get. So what they wear is not going to affect us much.
Not to harp on uniforms, obviously it's very important, but your brand is associated with it. I mean, people look out there, they see the gold and blue, they know West Virginia. I mean, is there a certain value to that, being able to look out on the field and know it's you guys playing without having to check the score?
Well, now no, to answer your question, because TV makes good. They're going to let you know who's playing. With that said, when you play on the road, you have to wear white. So why do we have white uniforms? Because you have to wear white. Okay, now we're a road team this week that Maryland put in a petition to be able to wear white because they unveiled some new fancy uniforms. You know, and we said, fine, we don't care, that's good for you. And we're gonna wear the darker colors. So we'll wear a combination of blue and gold because we have to. The next time we play a road game, guess what? We're gonna wear white because that's what you gotta do. And I can't change the rule. Here we go again, these talks of the uniform talk, right?
Yeah, will you continue to move Daryl Worley around on what you perceive to be the best receiver, or are you gonna keep him more of a left-right quarterback alignment?
He moves around some. I mean, he primarily lines up on the left side, but that doesn't mean he can't line up on the right side. Yeah, he's right now playing pretty good. So he will continue to, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what our plan is with him this week, but we will move him around based on him being one of our better players. And wherever we feel like he gives us the best position to be successful, that's where he'll go.
Dana, while the offense has been extremely efficient the first couple games, are you concerned at all about the lack of big plays over the first two contests?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. You know, we had a little talk offensively about that. We've had 14, 15 explosive plays per game, but we haven't had explosive plays to the point where we've scored. You know, an explosive play is, you know, in our definition, 12 yards of rush, 14 yards of screen, 16 yards of pass. That's an explosive play, and we keep track of that. I would like some of those explosive plays to turn into touchdowns, and right now they're not. I mean, part of what Towson's plan was to keep everything in front of them, and they did a better job of rallying and blocking than we did making guys on the very last level miss and going and scoring. Yes, I'm a little concerned about it, and we're going to work on it and try to get better at it.
Dana, how much of that is Clint getting rid of the ball quickly and then not pushing the ball just because you want to get rid of him?
A little bit, but you know, him hanging onto the ball last week was not possible just because of how deep they were. You know, we'll see what this bunch of Maryland's you know, plan's going to be defensively, and if we have opportunities to go over the top of them, I can assure you that we're going to. You know, with that said, we got to be able to complete a curl route or a screen pass, and they got to be able to go score at times. That's what great offenses do.
And you expect to see a little bit of a bigger difference out of Kevin White, maybe getting into the end zone this time around?
Yeah, and again, I don't mean to be beating a dead horse on this, but he's caught how many balls? 20-some, about 20 balls, and he's gotten the end zone one time. And he's had opportunities to get in there before. Playing great. I mean, he's really playing good. Night and day compared to where he was last year. You know, where he's at right now statistically is where he was at about game 6 or 7, I think, last year. So he's clearly just a different guy. The next step in his evolution of being a great player is to get in the end zone. Awesome. All right, thanks, guys.